Hey there, everyone. I hope you are all doing good. Welcome to this new Stazma tips and trick, which is more of a repetitor tips and trick in this case, as I'm going to run you down my live ACIIIID setup. So, we are going to start by the basic. It's all built around the Walkthrought, which is TR-808 clone, drum machine, analog drum machine, and the Xox box that's over here, which is a clone of the TB-303 analog bassline synthesizer. So let's put the volume up of those two on the mixer and have a listen. So I have a few patterns stored into the Xox box using the track mode. So I have a few tracks with patterns that I've chosen, and I can just play them in the order I want. And I usually start, let's do it by the way, I usually start with a blank pattern on the Walkthrought for my live set. So this one's not, it's here, no. Where the fuck are my blank patterns? Okay, this one seems blank. So I usually go for 16 steps pattern. Just drop in some basic accent. And then start to add stuff on top as I feel it. The thing I like to do is to enter things by tapping. For example, here I will go with the hi-hats. So I lift the volume down and add a few where I know they're gonna sound good. Let's do the same with the open hi-hat. And then I can to do the same with the rim shots. Actually works quite well for accent as well. Okay, so let's leave the drum for now like this. On the Xox box, I basically play around with the filters setting. Let's change the pattern. So you might hear that there's some reverb on it. It's the Strymon over here. I'm not sure you can see it. It's on a Knox on the mixer. I can choose to add shitload of it or just a little bit. It's nice to have it on a Knox so I can send anything in it. For example, the drums. I like to use the spring reverb sound. I need to buy a real spring reverb pedal, analog one of these days. I also have this delay here that I use a lot on basically everything, but love it on the drums. The delay is also sent to the reverb, so I can have those space echoey type of sounds. Okay. One other thing on the drums, that I have the kick alone on a clean channel here, and the mix of all the other drums is going through this Mooga Fuga pedal, so I can drive it a little bit to add some color and punch to the sound. And I can also filter it, which is nice to make some sort of breakdown. It's also cool to change the color of the sound. As there's a mix knob here, you can tune the coloring a little bit more than just having full. One thing I like to do as well is to modulate the filter with math here. Especially when you have the mix at 50% or so. This gives sort of a phaser-like sound, especially when you add some cymbals. Let me add some cymbals. Okay, I also have a phaser and a distortion on the Soxbox. Good old Bose DS1. Works well to make it scream a little bit. And the phaser is a electro-harmonics. Come here. Small stone. It sounds especially good when there's less resonance. Okay, those are the basics. Now let's go to the modular. I wanted to have a setup that will let me improvise without having to think too much of tuning and stuff. So basically I have the CV out of the Soxbox going through both a quantizer over here from Erica Synth and directly to the IntelliGel Rubicon. So what I can do is derive two other lines playing the same notes as the Soxbox but with different sounds. And by mixing those together, you can make new sounds or new lines or whatever. Anyway, I'll try to demonstrate this. So here I have Big Soxbox alone. And when I press this on the planar, it will sample whatever note was playing here, whatever CV was playing from here, and send it to this Dixie that's going into the U-fold over here to a VCA. And with this axis of the planar, I control the volume, and with this one, the amount of wave folding. I usually send this to a lot of delay and reverb. I use it to make some pads. Problem is that sometimes if you press the sample key, it will sample it while it's sliding, so the tuning will be completely off. As I'm in a chromatic mode. And it's a bit boring, but sometimes it makes like some very weird stuff and it's fun. So inside this I can send either only a saw wave, or triangle, or a bit of both. Then I have some modulation going on the symmetry, which is either an envelope or more usually this channel of math. Let me replug this. The same that was doing the modulation on the filter here. This LFO of math can also modulate the volume here for tremolo or in and out type effects. And I like to leave this to drone sometimes as well. So I'm either using it for short splash of sound like this, or for drone in the background. You can also add some random modulation from the sample and hold here. They have to clock from the trigger of the octo. This is usually always on, like full on. It's clocking the sample and hold here, so I get random values that I can modulate. The folding here. Add some animation. Okay. So, my other modular thing is a voice made out of the Rubicon, a few selected waveforms and noise, going through this Dr. Octature filter, which is a very Roland sounding filter based on the 101. This is after going to a VCA, and I have those two envelopes. This one is controlling the amplitude and this one the filter. I can trigger them from the sequencer, from trigger 2 of the octo. So let's... It is mostly noise. Might have noticed this little sequencer. I use it to control the velocity of the notes. It's especially notable when there is lots of them. Doing the velocity of both the filter and the amplitude. Let's remove the rest. So it's playing the same note than the Sox box, but with different rhythm if I decide. Some of the other tricks I have here is that because this is sending trigger out, so if I send this directly to this ADSR, I skip the sustain phase because there's only trigger, so I can't have attacking sound like this, for example. So I first send a trigger to math. I'm thinking this end of rise. So I can basically convert this trigger into a gate of the length I then choose here, which is very convenient. So if I want long sound, or very short sound, I can have both. Add a little bit of sub-oscillator to this. I also have the random that I used here, going to the filter FM. And one of the waveform of this oscillator, the one that does this drony thing, I can send it to modulate the filter for weird FM sounds like this. This works awesome on percussion, so I'm going to put trigger for the envelope everywhere. And make the sound very percussive. Lots of resonance. Then get the trio tree back. And basically, yeah, I can just play around like this for as long as I want. So that's what I'm going to do for a little bit. Oh, I forgot about one thing. I also have the cowbell of the Yocto. It's being sent on a individual channel as well. So I can have it. Yeah, I have it on this channel. It's going to a lot of reverb. So I use it mostly for ambience. So either just putting one here and there, for example to highlight a snare or something like this, and leave it on here, or the opposite, just put some everywhere, and I just play with the fader. And one of the other thing I play with is the mute. And volume on the Yocto. I like to add clap like this as well. Especially fun to do like cowbell clap. Then you can switch the clap to maracas. And that's it. Hope you understood something. It was not too geeky. Probably was. But yeah, have fun. See you next time. Allez, enfin, on peut tout dérouter.